Okay, as promised, I'm going to go through the steps of setting up a 5-gallon bucket for oyster mushrooms. And this bucket has been cleaned out with alcohol. I've wiped it all out and let it dry. And we've got it full to the top of straw. And this is shredded or cut straw, I guess you'd call it. And you can buy it at places like Detector Supply and places like that. And this is a food grade plastic bucket. Okay, and I'm going to use pickling lime to pasteurize or sterilize the straw. So what I'm going to do is use about, I don't know, maybe a half of a cup or to a quarter cup, somewhere in there, of pickling lime in water, and I'm going to dump it onto the straw and let it set. And it's going to set for 2 to 3 hours, maybe a little longer. And then I will take the straw out and put it into another bucket that I have holes drilled into, right at 1/2-inch holes, and a couple drain holes in the bottom, and then 1/2-inch holes down the side for the mushrooms to grow out of. But also, I'm going to add a couple blocks, and these are the same blocks I always use, so they're already somewhat sterile. But the pickling lime takes care of a lot of the sterilization. But we put these in here to keep the straw from floating. And put them in just like that. Push it down a little bit. And now I'm going to go mix up the pickling lime and water. And we're going to dump it in there. Okie doke. We're going to put some lime in another 5-gallon bucket. And it's not really critical on the measuring here. We're going to do about a quarter cup or a little over. That's about 4 of these. And that'll help pasteurize or sterilize the straw. You can also boil it, but that's a messy job. And so I don't do that. Okay, I'm going to fill this up with water and I'll be right back and dump it in. Okay, we got our water and lime mixed up. I'm going to rinse off the spoon. I also wash my hands, so. But it's not, with these mushrooms, it's not quite as critical as it is with some other species. But, sorry about the noise in the background, it's our dryer running.
And he left the door wide open and flies are going in the house, so I'm shutting the door.
Okay, here we go. We're going to pour this right over the top of this straw. You can see it's kind of multicolored from the lime. And we're going to fill it right up, put the top on it, and let it sit for about 3 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours. You don't want to go much less than 2 hours. Right to the top. And you can see the bubbles coming out. Perfect. All right, and I'll come back in a little bit, and I'm going to take that mycelium block that we just grew those mushrooms in a previous video, and instead of throwing it away like a lot of people do, I'm going to break it up, and I'm going to mix it with the straw in layers, and it's going to produce a whole nother mushroom garden inside the 5-gallon bucket, which will grow a lot more mushrooms. All this substrate will be covered with mycelium, and the mushrooms will come outside of the bucket. And it won't be this bucket. I've got another bucket I'm going to use, and it's got holes drilled in it. I'll show you that when we do the layering. So, see you in a little bit.
And here we go.
Okay, I got my bucket, and you can see the holes drilled in it by the light, and I've got microfiber tape on there, so oxygen can still pass through, but it helps keep contamination out. And there go my paper towels, but that's okay. We're going to sterilize the inside of this bucket and my hands a little bit with alcohol. You want to keep everything clean. And I know I'm outside and all, but it's still, we keep it clean. And I've got a bucket in the house where the mycelium is actually really doing well, that I'm going to show you after I show you how to set one up. Okay, so we're sterilized here. We're also going to sterilize this knife. And this is the mycelium that I produced the mushrooms from in the other video, if you have watched. If not, it's in my library. Let me put the top back on here. Come on. And we're going to put this down here with the mycelium on it. And we're going to cut it open. Now I could actually do another mushroom grow off this very block, but we're not gonna. We're gonna use this to grow a 5-gallon bucket of mushrooms instead of another 1-pound mass. And this is very much alive. Okay, and it's kind of crumbly and easy to use. We're gonna slice it up like this.
And I'm asking because I'm learning too. It's okay to touch it with your hands?
Yes, because my hands are sterile.
And then just wash your hands after. I mean, okay.
Yeah, it's clean. It's not like dirty. Okay, we got that cut up. And here's our straw. It's been soaked in lime, pickling lime. And we're simply going to take that straw. And I have drain holes in the bottom of this bucket. And you take the straw and we're going to layer it in there. Squeeze as much water out as we can before you put it in. And I left this in overnight because I think it helps kill the seeds, because there's little seeds in here from the wheat, and they actually sprout. It's no big deal, but they do. It's kind of a pain in the butt to pull them out. Okay, we got the first little layer in. We're going to go a little deeper with it. Now this will propagate really fast. Probably within 14 to 21 days I'll be ready to fruit this, because the mycelium will have taken over the straw and made it one mass of white furry mycelium. Now we're going to take some of this out of here like so. And we're just going to crumble it up right on top of this layer, just like that. Okay. And then we're going to put another layer of straw, and we're going to do that all the way up to the top. And I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done. Okie doke. I am finishing up. I've put in so far about 6 layers of straw in mycelium, alternating them as I go up. And I'm out of my straw. We're going to do one more layer, and then I'll sprinkle just a little bit on top. Most of it's down in the straw where it can really get going well. Okay, then take some of this and sprinkle it in here like so. And the last layer. And I pack it down in as I go. You see all the dirt that came off, and the straw's pretty clean now.
So all the mushrooms will just grow up through the straw?
Well, the mycelium will colonize the straw, turn it into one glob of, it almost looks like mold, and a lot of people make the mistake of thinking it's mold when the mycelium first starts showing up, because it's really fuzzy. But then it turns like a milky white, and it just, the threads just take over the whole bucket. Okay, we're going to take the rest of this, just kind of scatter it in right here. Just give it a little head start up on top. And any mycelium that's in the bag goes in there. I don't like to waste any of it because it just helps the next batch get going better. And this was a kit that we bought. And we flowered the kit and had mushrooms yesterday. And when you buy the kit, you can do a harvest like that. Or you can just buy mycelium spawn online. And it's about 20 bucks to get you started. Then you just reuse your own spawn time after time. You don't have to buy it anymore. And I'm just going to cover up that little bit I put there with the last of it. And as you can see, the water is draining out the bottom over here. You don't want this to be too wet. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this bucket, let it drain for a minute, and then we're going to put it in a dark plastic bag loosely covered so it can get some air. And it stays in the dark until the mycelium fully colonizes, because when you put it in light, it'll see enough light through the bucket and through these holes that stimulates the mycelium to fruit and form mushrooms. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Alrighty, this bucket's been going for just over 2 weeks, maybe 15 or 16 days. And you can see how we wrap it loosely in plastic. That's so it can still breathe. And this one was started with a block of mycelium. I think I had just over a pound of it that I ordered. And it's got the same holes drilled in it. And you can see very clearly the mycelium. No, that's not mold. That's mycelium. And it's got this almost completely colonized. In a couple more days, this will be ready. And you can see some little sprouts in here. They're harmless. That's from seeds that are in the straw. But yeah, you can see this is very well colonized, doing very well, starting to come up through the top, and it's webbed all through there very nicely. So we're going to put this one back away and let it do its thing for a couple more days. Once it's fully colonized, we'll fruit this by putting it in our humidity tent. And there you have it. There you have it. As this other one goes along, and this one, I'll show you. And we're going to use this bucket as an example now, because I did the same thing. It's put together the same way. The only difference is the holes on this one are just a little over 3/8, and on the other they're closer to 1/2 inch. Either way will work. They both have the drains in the bottom. They're both layered with mycelium and straw, so everything's identical other than that. And we're going to use this bucket again, as I said, as our example, because it's 2 weeks farther along than the other one. And I'll get back with you when there's something else to show you here. It's a lot of fun. I guess I should add here too that when you've got it in the plastic loosely and stuff, the mycelium starts growing. When you first start out doing this, like I did, I was worried it was mold at first. But then I was talking to a guy online that grows a lot of these, and says there's a very simple way to tell. Mold smells like mold, and mycelium doesn't have a bad smell to it. It has an earthy, pungent smell, but it does not smell like mold or mildew in any way, shape, or form. It smells, I guess they say it smells clean. But it's still a fungus, okay? But this fungus is a good fungus and grows us nice, tasty mushrooms. So anyway, you can tell by smelling, and don't panic when you see those nice fuzzy white balls showing up as it grows up through the straw. It's just the mycelium colonizing, and everything's most likely normal. When mold shows up in a batch of mushrooms like this, it's usually a different color too. It's pretty obvious, and you can smell it. So anyway, I'll see you when we get this bucket fully colonized. All right, I think it's been like 4 days now since I showed you the 5-gallon bucket that was starting to colonize real well. Now I'm going to show you both buckets. And they're wrapped in plastic. I got them here in my little back room, office slash den slash studio slash where I keep my stuff slash where I do my panning and testing. So it's just kind of an all-purpose office type deal. But it stays dark back here most of the day. And I also have these wrapped in black plastic. And it's loosely wrapped so they get air. All right? And the reason I do that is because what stimulates these things to grow when you start growing them is light and humidity and temperature. And the humidity and temperature is already pretty good. So once they see some filtered sunlight in the other room where our little humidity tents are to grow them, they start popping right away within just a few days. And once that happens, there's no stopping it. So anyway, I'm going to show you how this mycelium has taken over the one you looked at earlier, and how it's starting to take over the new one. I'll be right back. That's a pretty good idea to mark your buckets so you know when you started them. And this one was started on March 30th. Okay, and this is the one you looked at before. And it had a little bit of mycelium growing. Wait till you see this. This bucket is just about ready to start fruiting these mushrooms. Look at there, my friends. That is a beautiful, beautiful bucket full of mycelium. Now, I'm not going to let this stay open too long. It's just about fully colonized. It's even going up some of the stuff on the walls. As soon as the rest of this is covered, this bucket's going to be able, be ready to fruit. And I'll show it to you before we get started. See how nice that looks? And that actually smells nothing like mold. Nope, nothing like mold. That is a nice, clean smell. That's very healthy. All right, now here's the other one. We started this bucket together on April 14th. Okay, now this one had a little more mycelium put in it to start. This one got 1 pound. And this one got that whole block we had. And this one's really going to town fast. You can already see, if you look close here, you can already see the mycelium starting to form right in here, all over here, here. It's forming quite quickly. And we don't have any sprouts growing in here either as yet. And this one went a little longer in the pickling line. And I think that helps get rid of the sprouts. So there you go. I'll get back with you when we put this other bucket into a fruiting chamber. And we're going to have some really nice mushrooms out of these buckets, I think. Alrighty, we're in the mushroom room. This is my humidity tent. It's somebody's old pot growing tent that I got a hold of. Kind of cool. It's waterproof, and here's why it's misty in here. That's keeping it humid in here. We're at 80%. And check this out. We got oyster mushrooms, my friends, coming out of the side of that bucket right there. Yeah, and some more coming in over here. And the rest of these will be getting going soon, I'm sure. Pretty cool, huh? I got to keep it humid so they don't dry out. And I kind of let these go too long in the covered up stage because I went trout fishing and stayed for a few extra days. So I'm feeling pretty lucky they actually grew. And I don't know, I'm going to putter around with this for a while and see how it works out. I like growing my own mushrooms. It's a lot of fun. Mushroom gardener. So anyway, I'll keep you along for the rest of this grow. It's going pretty good so far. Talk to you in a bit. Alrighty, this is the first batch going to a close friend of mine, Sean, actually family. And I got more over here. There's 2 batches here. Sean's going to get this whole batch right here. And when you store this stuff or ship it or give it to somebody to transport, you need like a plastic container with air holes in the lids so they don't dry out. That's the key. If they dry out, they go right to spore. But as you notice, these are turning up, and they're not as big a hole down in the center. Concave is in, right, and convex is out. So these are more convex now. When they first started out, they were kind of like these here, and then they start stretching out. So anyway, I don't know if I should just twist those off. We'll try that first. Ooh, man. These are gonna be good. These are gonna be good. Oh, there they are. One.
Wow, that is beautiful. Look at that.
Feel them, Sean.
That's amazing. Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can eat these raw.
That's gonna be.
They're okay raw too.
That's good.
We're gonna have to cut this to get it all in there.
But that's
Maybe I'll do this.
they look yummy.
Yeah, they do. I want some. There we go. There we go. They'll fit. Now these will keep for about 2 weeks in the fridge if you do it right.
Okay.
And Sean was asking me about that. I said the best way with these is to look them up, and you're going to cut this off. basically right here. It's just a tough part. You can eat from here up. Yeah, it's pretty simple. They sure are good. I think the only mushroom that's better than these is a morel. I don't think anything else even comes close. And we'll give these just a little shot of moisture, and then they're going in a refrigerated cooler, just like that. Yeah, and you never want them to get soaking wet without air holes. Okay, now these guys here, we got more mushrooms coming out here. We got pins coming out here. This batch is going to be darn near as that one Sean just took. And then we got mushrooms starting to come out all over in here. It's going to be crazy. Why these other ones didn't grow, I'm not really sure. Well, actually I am. Tammy and I went to Flagstaff fishing for 2 days. And I decided to stay for 5 days. And they were ready to come out of their incubation bags and start fruiting. So they went a little bit too far. Next time around, it'll be more success. But learn as you go, my friends. Those are beautiful. Those will be huge tomorrow. They'll be a wad that big.